we had some cameras. And, we've been back and forth to camp here and there and not really messing with the cameras. We pull up in the food plot, right on the edge of the food plot. You told me, said, look, there's a deer right there.
I saw a white belly laying over
there. And there was a doe laying on the edge of the food plot. Her head was not up. It was upright.
Yeah.
It was on the ground, but her ears were up. That's when we realized she's still alive.
Yeah. That's what you said. He said they're still alive. We got to go get a gun.
Yeah. So we
eased up there and looked at her, and sure enough, she was broke down.
Somebody shot her front leg, might near plumb off.
Yeah. But we called around. Let's call game warden. Let's call the neighbors. See if anybody's missing a deer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you think, we got neighbors that hunt around us. You want to stay in good relationship with them. Shoot them a message. Hey, man, we got a shot doe over here. She's still alive. Anybody missing one or missing a deer? And nobody claimed it. So we went back and got a rifle and went back and dispatched her and loaded her up and salvaged the meat.
Yeah. Had somebody take her.
Yeah. We had somebody want her. And that front shoulder was no good, but everything else about that deer was fine. Yeah. And you hate to see that, but at least it didn't go to total waste. Hey, welcome back to the Buck Junkies Podcast. Me and Mikey here hanging out today. Mikey, what's been going on hunting season, man?
Man, we've been off for a couple of weeks.
Off from podcasting.
Yeah, off from podcasting. We still been hunting and working a little bit, but man, we've had a pretty eventful 2 weeks. The last couple of weeks, done a little hunting, done a little vacationing.
Yeah, you went up to the mountains, didn't you?
I did. My daughter, we've been trying to keep this secret for a few months because my son-in-law came and asked for a hand in marriage, and we've been holding the ring and all that stuff, trying to keep it quiet since about middle of spring last year.
Oh man, so you've been holding that secret?
Yeah. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Got a new son-in-law coming, huh?
Yeah, new son-in-law
That's
coming.
Exciting. Hey, at least he started off on the right foot. He asked you, right?
He did, man. I was proud of him. He came and asked. He did it old-fashioned way, man. I was worried because he called me and he said, hey, I need to talk to you. And I was like, oh, God.
He wanted to borrow some money.
Oh, man, I didn't know what it was. I was like, 1,000 things went through my mind because normally he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And he said, I need you by yourself. And I was like, oh God.
Was he nervous?
Oh, yeah, man. He was nervous. I thought he was going to throw up on me. Yeah. Because he didn't know what my response was going to be. But, yeah, he asked to marry her back then. And, I just told him, are you sure? I mean, I've been living with her for 20 years. Are you sure you want to do this?
You know what you're getting into?
You still got 8 months to get out of it.
Well, they set a date, or is it going to be a minute?
It's going to be a minute. I think they got some other things they're going to get in order before they actually do it. But I think it's going to be in the spring and next year.
Okay. So they're adulting. That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but there's
no use in jumping off. That's my best advice I could give to somebody.
Yeah.
No use in jumping off in it right out the gate.
That's right. I thought it was going to be not a wasted trip, but, I thought it was going to be just, the whole group just sitting there around, I'm on their itinerary, and it wasn't really like that. Me and Melissa actually got to go into Gatlinburg, actually into the Smoky Mountain, what is it, National Forest?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. But we got to go up there and look at all the, scenery up there. Man, it's so beautiful up there. And I actually got to see some deer while we were up there. I actually videoed some of them. Man, they're in full-blown rut up there right now.
So what is that little place called? Where
Cades Cove?
Cades Cove up in Gatlinburg, right? Or outside of Gatlinburg?
Yeah. It's outside of Gatlinburg in the park out there. And me and her went through Cades Cove, and, man, there were bucks out there just, I videoed one buck. He was tearing a tree up, man. He made a scrape, went over and whooped this big old pine tree down. And I done stopped traffic. I was in the middle of the road. And people was like, look at me, look this idiot out of his car. Anyways, I was just in awe, because you don't get to see animals that close that are not scared of you. That'd have been a Mississippi deer. I'd pulled up there and stopped. That gravel would have crunched. See ya.
You seen a bear?
I did see one.
Did you?
Yeah, I've seen one, a mama and some cubs years ago when I went up there. I seen a big one this time. It was a big male.
Yeah.
He was actually up in the woods. He was about 60 or 70 yards off the road, and he was just destroying this tree that was kind of laying down. I guess he was digging for grubs or looking for something to eat out of that, rotten wood, picking out bugs or something like that. But, man, he was going to town on that thing, and I didn't know those things got that massive, dude. Yeah. I mean, that thing was massive.
I've seen one up there. It was, I think it was 2 years ago. And you know how you just walk through the little town, you go in the shops and places to eat and all that. Well, we were walking by this one little alley, and these people were just all standing around, huddled up. It's kind of on the side of this building. And I was like, me being curious, I was like, what are they doing? You know, what's going on here? And this one dude said, hey, you want to see a bear? And I was like, heck yeah. I mean, I was looking for a bear the whole time I was there. And so we go down this little alley, and you know how there's a creek that runs right through there, right in Gatlinburg on the side? Yeah. Well, the building's backed up to it. And they had this restaurant had a little deck out over the river kind of, and it had some space up under it where the rocks and all that were. And that bear was up under there. And I don't know if people have been feeding him or throwing stuff from that restaurant down. Dude, I wouldn't say I was as close for me to you, but it was close.
Pretty close.
Close. Now, we did have a rail, and it was kind of down in that creek bottom.
So if he got up, you had time to run?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd have been the last one, but he wasn't interested in us at all. He was waiting on that next, hush puppy, whatever they throw down. But that's the closest I've ever been to one in the wild. I mean, he was right there in the town. And I've seen different videos and stuff where they just walk certain times of year. Them jokers just come strolling through town there.
Yeah. I we didn't see any in town. We actually stayed in Sevierville. I think it's how you say it, Sevierville. We stayed up there. You know, it's a little less crowded and stuff like that. But we came into Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and shopped and done a few things there. But those animals. The first elk I ever seen. It's funny you saying that because I was coming out of that park and we was looking for them. Knew they were there, didn't see. Well, we did see a bear. But my wife wants to see elk. She said she's never seen one. She was like, I want to see elk. I want to see elk. And I was like, all right. So me and the kids are going through there, and we never did see one. We went all through that park. Never did see one. And we come out, and right before we got into Gatlinburg, there was one standing on the side of the freaking highway, just watching the cars go by. I mean, a big old bull just standing there. And I was like, look, I mean, we done come plumb out of we done spent a whole day in that park looking for him and couldn't find them. And there he was standing right at the edge of town.
Did y'all do any hiking?
Something cool? Man. Look, let me tell you something. I hadn't been up there hiking in, probably 20 years. Mm-hmm. Me and Melissa decided we wanted to go see Abrams Falls. Yeah. About a 2.5 mile hike back in the woods. It says moderate, hiking trail or whatever. Oh, yeah. Not for a fat kid, almost 50 years old.
I'd have been huffing
in a pair of Nike tennis shoes, man. We were about to die. We took one bottle of water with us. We walked all the way back there. By the time we got out, we were rationing that water between us. We'd walk 50 yards and breathe, catch our breath. Walk 50 yards, catch our breath, man. It was bad, man. I'm bad out of shape.
Hey, that's good. You need to get tuned up for turkey season.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I said, I'm training for turkey season here.
That's right.
But yeah, we went through that park, man. There's one thing I noticed, like you're in that park, there's nowhere to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. You're in nature. No, they don't have like
on the side of the road or nothing. Yeah. Like you riding through there in the little pull off spots and like there's nowhere to, there is like around the ranger station or the visitor area, but you get off deep in that park, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Man, we had an issue.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well,
was it you?
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was it was one of my daughters. Well, he's a family friend, Tucker. And anyways, Tucker, man, we pulled up. We were looking at this waterfalls, pull off spot parking areas in there, and we pull off in there, and we're looking at this waterfall. I noticed he didn't go down where everybody else went. He kind of stayed up there and hung out with me, and I was like, I'm not going down there. I'm sore. I can't even walk down these. This is after the hike the next day. And I was like, man, my legs are so sore. I mean, I don't even want to go down there. But anyways, Tucker was like, man, Mikey, where do you go to the bathroom in this park? I said, dude, we're way away from, we're like way out from a bathroom. I said, you just going to have to, I guess you just have to go in the woods.
Find a tree.
Number one, number two. He said, oh, definitely number two. And I was like, oh, no. I said, hold on, dude. Let me get you some wipes. I got some baby wipes.
You had some emergency provisions.
I had some emergency provisions in the pickup.
Yeah.
That he starts walking out. He's like, where do I go? I said, just go up through, see those green bushes. Just go up in there far enough where can't nobody see you. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Man, as soon as he started up in there, the freaking park ranger pulls up.
Yes. That's never failed.
No. This park ranger, he's on a mission. I don't know if he was coming to like get on the folks for being down by the, by the fall or whatever, but he got out and he was looking for somebody and he walked over there to where that place, the fall was, and he walked around and Tucker done eased back up in the bushes And my wife's going nuts. She was like, surely he ain't coming here looking for him. I said, no, he just walked in there. You know, nobody seen him do that. That dude went in there where he was at.
Oh, right.
He walked by me and Melissa's having a fit. She was like, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to die laughing. They handcuff him with his britches down, bring him out.
So did he get onto him?
No, he went up in there and I asked Tucker, I was like, because I seen the guy go in there and he come out really quick and got in his car and just left.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he had to have seen him, man. He had to. He walked right in there where he was at.
Something he didn't want to see.
No, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I asked Tucker, I was like, which way was you facing? So he's facing the opposite way. I said, oh, man, he did see. He walked in there and seen your white butt sticking out of them green bushes, and he just turned around and come on back out of there.
No warning, no nothing.
I don't want to know what's going on in here.
Hey, when you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah, it was a good trip, man. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. What you went duck hunting, didn't you?
So yeah, since I've been on the podcast, man, I've been hunting all over. I ain't slowed down really. I had another trip out to Texas. This time I went with the group that I go to. This is one of them where they take me hunting on the trip. So we went to a ranch. It's outside of Hondo. We flew into Hondo, Texas, which is down west side of San Antonio, down kind of South Texas.
Yeah,
wasn't too far from the border where we were. But yeah, I'd been to this place 2 or 3 times. This is where I shot. First time I went, I shot that fallow deer.
Yeah.
And then I got to shoot an axis deer last year. Well, this year they had another type of animal they had. There was a black buck. And I'd never, I think I saw one last year, but it's in an antelope family. So you think of an antelope, and if you've seen those antelope where their horns, they kind of go out at a V, they just kind of spiral, and they don't shed them every year. They just keep adding to that spiral.
Oh, it just keeps growing.
Yeah, and so I was looking for one of those bucks, and man, when I got there and told them what I wanted to shoot, and this is a high fence area, I think it was probably 5,000-6,000 acres fenced, and it doesn't feel like it when you're in it.
Yeah.
But that's where they keep those exotics that you're shooting. So they've got whitetail, they got hogs, they got, other animals, and they got these exotics like the axis and the fallow, and I don't think they had any sheep there, but they may have had some sheep. I didn't see any. Anyway, I wanted to shoot a black buck. I thought that'd be cool on my wall. Now I got an axis and a fallow, and I'm gonna add a black buck to it. So I hunted and hunted, but never saw any. And then they got word that they've been hanging out down in this little flat area. It almost reminds me of some prairie area or something like that. Tall grasses, scrub trees, Most of the stuff where we're hunting there is really up and down. It's almost like some rock mountains to me.
Yeah.
Well, it's a hill country. And so there's pretty good, inclines and all that. And so there's some high points. So a lot of times what they were doing is they was going, there's glassing. And they had these guides that went everywhere you went, you had to take a guide with you. Cause I guess they was going to make sure they got paid if you shot something.
Yeah.
They didn't just turn us loose on it.
Well, I wouldn't even know what a black buck looked like, so I don't need him to,
Well, I didn't either.
Yeah. And, you can look at it on a picture, but looking at it out in a field up 200 yards away.
Well, that's kind of how this went. I wasn't in a stand. He's like, he got word, I guess somebody'd seen those black bucks, and they have a little harem. So you'll get one dominant black buck, and he might have him 8 or 10 black buck does, I guess you call them.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what they are. I don't know. I didn't ask what the females were called, but they don't have the horns. That's how you can tell them apart. And there were some little ones, but there was 2. I guess there was like a juvenile and the one that I was after, and most of them are kind of like this tannish white pattern on them, kind of like you see an antelope. Well, the older black bucks, they get a lot of dark, like black mixed in their coat. They look really pretty. It's almost like a, what do you call them cats that are? Oh, not a brindle, but you know what I'm talking about.
Calico.
Yeah, it looks like a calico antelope.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of black, and the more black on it, the cooler they look. Well, this one, he was an older one, and he was real pretty. He had a lot of black on him, but he had white markings on his face and some tan in there. And I was like, man, if I get a chance, they had a picture of him. I was like, if I get a chance to see that one, I definitely want to shoot him. Well, there was some hanging out down in this big wide open patch, and he said, I think we can take my truck, because they drive their trucks everywhere. It's not side by sides. All these is like roads we were on. And so we'd drive out there and try to get on the high point, and the guide would glass. And if anybody saw anything, you just speak up. And there's a couple other, Heath was with me, and a guy named Chris Hall was with us from the company that took us. And so we were all in this truck riding around, and we see some way off in the distance. He's like, man, all right, now if they see us, they're going to run. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to circle around this hill, try to get it to a vantage point where you could get a shot off. Well, by the time we did that, them jokers had done moved, and we was in the truck. So he's like, we got to go down in there. So he's driving his truck down in there. I mean, it's fun now. I mean, this is some redneck stuff.
Rednecking.
And I told the dude as he was driving, he said, can you shoot? I said, heck yeah, I can shoot. I said, you get me close enough, I'll jump out here and shoot one. He said, well, I think I know which way they were running. And they were running across what looked like a savanna, what we were in. And he said, so we're going to circle back around, get across this creek, and there's a hill. And he said, if they come out, they're going to be on the other side of that hill, and they're going to just give you a minute to shoot. And so we got ahead of them, and he said, I think this is the only crossing that they could have came where they were running. And so we jumped out, and they just happened to, somebody got their cell phone out on me. It wasn't like we were trying to film it or anything.
Yeah.
I was trying to kill one. And so I jumped out and propped up on the windowsill of the truck. Now, I was standing outside, propped up on the windowsill of this truck. Here comes one of them females shoot across. I was like, oh, yeah, it's on. I knew there was about 8 of them. And then there was a smaller buck, and then the one I wanted to shoot. He was going, and the dude was going, he's going to be the last one. He's going to be the last one because he's making sure where they go. And so I beat it down on them, and then as soon as I saw that joker come across there, they didn't get the shot, but I squeezed one off and dirt rolled him.
Really? Running?
Running. Yeah, he was
Look
running.
out. How far was he?
Oh, he's probably, I don't know, 175, 200 yards.
You shot a black buck running at 175 yards.
On video.
Out the window, not out the window,
standing on the ground, using the window as a prop. So it is. So the guy was like, dang, you railed him, didn't you? I was like, I told you get me a shot at him.
Oh.
But I done metered him. I mean, I was kind of tracking the other ones. And so I knew as soon as
you got your timing down and lead
I had it down, and then it was just pop, and he was down. And so by the time we walked up there and got up there, I mean, there he was.
Man, you should have juked the shell out of that rifle, blow down the barrel, blow the smoke out the end of it. So that's how we do it in Mississippi.
It wasn't even my gun. I don't know whose gun.
Oh, was it not?
Oh, yeah. I didn't take mine. I didn't fly with it. I just use theirs because the guides usually have a way better gun than I have there.
Yeah.
But I think it was it might have been a 270 or something like that. But see, there's the black buck.
Not as big.
Animal size is not near as big as a mature whitetail. Now, I did so the rest of the time we spent hog hunting, and we go sit out because all these places that I've been to, they don't charge you to kill hogs.
Yeah, it's actually doing them a favor. Yeah.
So we went out and we shot some hogs. And basically their whitetail hunting is way different than we hunt in Mississippi. And every place I've been in Texas has been kind of like this. They hunt feeders.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's not a lot of,
there's not a lot of natural browse.
Acre trees and stuff like that. I mean, they're eating scrub stuff out there. But them deer just get on a pattern to where they feed them corn starting the hunting season to the end of hunting season. So they know to come to corn. And so the hogs come too. And so what we would do, if you would deer hunt, you'd go out there and hog hunt. And just sit in a stand or in a truck or on, whatever.
Was it javelinas or was it actual hogs?
No, it was actual hogs. Yeah, it was actual hogs. So we popped a few of those. I think I killed 2 of them, 2 separate days, and then we'd ride around looking for them sometimes. But they're not easy to ride up on. Usually you got to be sitting still and been there for a minute, and they'll come in. But they time their feeders to where they throw an hour before about that last good 30 minutes, and then right 30 minutes before last shooting light. That way they can get, if the hogs do come in, maybe they'll clean it up and go out.
Go on, and then
the next group of deer and stuff can come in.
I
got a really cool video of a young buck run right to me. I was sitting in a stand one day, and he just come right up in front of me and out the side. Hopefully we can get that posted up. I sent it over to Tyler. But then that last day, everybody else was shooting 2 animals. Like, a couple guys killed 2 bucks, like whitetails, and somebody killed an axis deer and a whitetail. And I said, I might want to shoot something else,
Yeah.
besides hogs. They was like, you want a whitetail hunt? And I was like, yeah, I'll go sit in the stand. There'd been a pretty good 10 point that had been hanging out in this one area. They knew about where he is, but even though it's a fence, man, them things go wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
They can't guarantee you. Like, it ain't got one, like, you say you want to go kill a 180-inch deer and they got one tied up for you to go shoot. I ain't never experienced that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the biggest one that was shot on the group we were with was like 152. And it wasn't because those guys wasn't paying for it. That's just all we saw.
All they saw. Yeah.
And we hunted for 3 days straight there. And I didn't see anything. I didn't see any monsters.
Well, even
I had before, but I didn't this time.
Yeah. Even though I know high fence gets a bad rap. You know, it does keep what animals they have, you know, put in there inside that fence. Yeah. But when you're talking about 5,000 or 6,000 acres, that's about the range of a wild buck anyways. You know, that's, you know, so really they're not, it's not like they're
confined.
You're going in the zoo and shooting them. You really, in some of those places, you got to hunt them.
Oh, yeah. Well, where we were, it's so rough in terrain. Those deer get in there and you never see them.
Yeah.
Like ever. And I imagine that's where the big ones were, because this was their rut. And we saw a lot of chasing going on, which they told us the rut's not the best time to come hunt here, because those big deer don't go to those feeders like you think they would.
Yeah.
They're going to avoid them. And when they get locked down on doe, I saw more deer just riding around, like going to and from stands and stuff and looking for hogs. There'd be a doe pinned down, and if there was one pinned down that you saw, you better start looking good, because there's usually a buck right with her.
Yeah,
just going wherever she goes. And so that's the ones that I saw, the bucks that I saw come to feeders there were always with a doe, and they usually weren't feeding at all. They were kind of running around. So that last day I hunted, there'd been some hogs in on the stand the night before. They'd saw them on camera. So I went back there thinking that there was a good buck in the area and there were some hogs, and I might see something. Well, the weather changed on us. It started warming up. Man, we didn't see nothing. Nothing came to the feeder. They were leaving all the corn was on the ground. And I don't know if it's because we've been there 2 or 3 days and hunting different spots where they just start patterning. I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would think. But, and so this last spot, the guy, Mr. Jimmy, that was with me, he's like, well, we can ride back over here and check one of these stands. There's usually a decent one in this area. Well, we get to easing around the side of this mountain, I call it. It's big, giant rock hill. And we're kind of working down the trails in this Toyota truck. We get about 3/4 of the way down, and we get our binoculars out, and we can tell there's a couple deer down in this one little set. I guess they've been down there feeding, the corn still on the ground or something.
Yeah.
So we started, he's like, man, does that look like a pretty decent buck to you? And I was, I'd done passed over a bunch of small bucks. I was like, that one's got a pretty bigger body anyway. I can't really tell much about his rack. I can just tell the outside his ears, And so we start getting down there, and we probably got within about 250, 200 yards, something like that, in the truck. And we got good glass on him, and he said, man, if you want to shoot that one, that one's a shooter. And he ended up being a 9-point. And I jumped, that's another one of them. I jumped out, and he's like, you going to sneak up the road and just take a prop and shoot him with his rifle? And so I did, and that joker ran, and it was I made a good shot right through his shoulders on him, but it didn't put him down. He ran.
Yeah.
And so we got down there, and Jimmy was like, man, we found blood, whatever. And we kind of looked around, didn't know if he got up. We thought we heard something, but it could have been another deer off in there. He's like, we kind of need to make sure we go get some help, give this deer a few minutes or whatever. So he walked, 250 yards, whatever, back to the truck, and was going to use his phone and call or try to go get somebody to come help us. Well, I pulled my phone out. I said, I'm going to find my blood, see if I can find this deer while he's back at the truck.
Yeah.
Sure enough, I walked around this tall stuff and around the cedar tree. There that joker laid. And it was a decent deer. It definitely wasn't the biggest deer I ever shot. It was the biggest deer I saw that week in Texas.
Yeah.
And I got the horns, and it's there at the taxidermy, and we enjoyed eating some deer meat.
Yeah, you would think, hunting in Texas and stuff like that, which Texas is a diverse terrain out there where you could go in certain parts and you can be in like almost like mountainous stuff.
Yeah.
And then like, other places would be just like the slick desert, you know what I mean? And Texas is not an easy place to hunt.
Even on the east side, they got woods and pine forest and all that on the east side of the state. But then you go up north where we were hunting up there outside Amarillo.
Yeah.
And it's cavernous, and it's like being out in the Midwest. Yeah. It's tough terrain in some places. Yeah. I hadn't hunted in the desert yet.
The bad thing is you can see a long ways.
Yes.
But also, them animals can see a long ways too. So having to sneak up on one, you liable to have to go miles and miles. We learned that, elk hunting out there and stuff.
If you don't have a cavern to get in or a hill to get around and to be able to circle, it's hard to move on them. Because if you think of how far we could see, think of how far they can see.
Well, now you see why some of them Texas boys, when they designed them, what they call Sendero rifles and stuff like that.
Because they stretch on out there.
Yeah. Because
there was a place out there. They were they did some training out there, and it was like some like long distance military type training and stuff.
Yeah.
And the guy that owned the place is like, yeah, it's my buddy's place. We can go out there and shoot if y'all want to. And he said it's big enough to land a jet on where you shoot. I was like, man, that's got to be a stretch there, ain't it?
Did y'all go shoot it?
No, we didn't have time. Everybody was still hunting. So if we'd have started out the trip doing that,
yeah.
I mean, next time if I get to go back, I'm just like, man, let's go do. Because I've already killed enough stuff out there.
Yeah. You know? It would be neat if you had a range that long to, I mean, we shot 500 yards this year, which in Mississippi, that's, we really ain't shooting that far. I mean, you can, but we usually don't.
Unless you're shooting them big Delta fields or something like that.
But I would like to go out there and see, just how far you could actually, how far can I actually shoot and hit something?
If you could hit something at 1,000 yards?
Get it out to 1,000 yards and, fire a shot and see if I can actually hit something or even get close. I'd be tickled if I got close. Just, you got to have a good shooting skills to be able to shoot that far. I tell you what would be
beneficial to go to take one of those long-range classes. I've always wanted to do that.
I'd have to get a different rifle, though.
No, I think you start out with theirs. I think you bring, like the ones I looked at, you bring yours, but you do all the training with theirs, and then on the last day, they'll show you, or give you some advice on setting yours up and let you take some shots.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of that, you got to have skill to do it, obviously, but a lot of it is the equipment.
It is. I mean, I can't go out there with Lucy with that 3x9 Leopold on it and be shooting up 1,000,
lay her on a bag and hope. I mean, it'll do it. But
it will do
the right
it.
Equipment,
You have to really, really know that gun.
But man, so let me tell you about what we ate while we were there.
Oh, go for it.
First night, the guy, Mr. Jimmy, that usually takes me out. He's an older guy. I think he's retired Highway Patrol, but now he's buddies with the guy, and he comes up there and guides when he has groups come. And so he did frog legs for us. Like fried frog legs.
Really?
And I'm talking
in Texas?
In Texas. But he's from over, I think he's from over like in the Houston area. So he's more on the
Wasn't horny toads or nothing?
No, it was bullfrog. It was frog legs.
I didn't know they had bullfrogs.
Well, I asked him where they got them. I was curious. I was like, man, where'd y'all get these frog legs out here? I know there ain't no frogs or no frogs of this size. Yeah. He said, oh, them came from Walmart.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was either Walmart or H-E-B. I can't remember. But it might have been H-E-B. But so they fried up frog legs and all the stuff to go with it. We had hush puppies and taters and all that coleslaw, all that good stuff.
They knocked it out.
Yeah. And so then one night he did everybody got a whole Cornish hen they slow smoked. And man, you talk about good. It's pretty much just a young chicken, baby.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but he did that. And he did a risotto, fancy rice.
Risotto
with it and a salad. That was dang good. We eat fine at this place. But my favorite thing was his son, Austin. He does a carne guisada, which is basically, and he did it out of, I want to say it was just regular whitetail, just like steak cut up. You take a roast and cut it up in steaks or whatever out of the hindquarter. But he cooked it down, and it's almost like cooking a pot of gumbo. If you think of cooking a stew, that's what it is, except it's a Mexican stew. And he puts all this carne guisada seasoning in it. And man, and he had these raw flour tortillas that he was heating up on a big iron skillet there and throwing them in his tortilla basket. And that's what we ate for one day. Man, I'm talking about good. That was some authentic stuff there.
So how long did he braise that down for?
He was doing it that morning when we left the hunt, and we didn't eat it till later that afternoon. So
did you get to watch him do it, or you just?
No, I was just in and out of the kitchen when he was doing it.
That'd be cool.
But I definitely would love to learn how. That's one dish that I've never cooked.
Yeah.
That I'd like to.
So I'm guessing he probably just browned that meat down, just seared it like you do a pot roast, and then got the liquid on it and just braised it all day. Just kept cooking the liquid all day.
He did throw in like peppers and onions and jalapenos, all this fresh stuff, and cook that. But by the time all that cooked down in the gravy, you
didn't know what it was. Yeah.
Tender meat. And you just built it in a taco and put whatever you wanted on it. They'd made fresh guac and pico and all that stuff. But the flavor of it was so good, just cooked down in a gravy. I mean, it was pretty much like a Mexican pot roast almost, I could say.
Yeah.
But the pieces were better chunks because I think he did like kind of brown them first.
Did you see the peppers he throwed in there?
He just had bell pepper and onion, and then garlic and jalapeno and maybe some poblano. It looked like
raw.
Oh, yeah, he sauteed all that
and
had that going after he got the meat browned up. I guess he browned the meat up, then did that, then took some of the grease out, then started building it, and just added water as it needed all day. Kept a lid on it, cooked it down, and then he reduced it at the end, and it thickened up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dang good. That's one that we need to work on, the Buck Junkie version of it.
I was picking your brain because I'm sitting over here thinking, like, what version can we do?
Yeah. I'm going to look up he sent me the recipe. I'll have to get it and send it to you, but it's a dang good one.
Yeah, because, I mean, sometimes you got some of those tougher muscles on the deer and stuff like that, and we do, we make roast out of it or something, but doing something just a little bit different.
Yeah, different. That's right.
Just kind of mix it up.
But that was the highlight of my Texas Hill Country trip. And that happened, that was before Christmas, I think, when I went on that.
Yeah.
We came back and the second split of duck season started. You got in on you and Will got in on some duck hunting.
We did. We got in on there's not a lot of ducks down here in our area right now. So we got a really good friend of ours, BJ Emerson, that lives around the corner from me. And he texted me, or no, he asked me if I wanted to go duck hunting. I told him, I said, I'll go I said, but just let Will do the shooting. I said, I don't, I don't care to. I said, but I'll do some video and stuff like that. So anyways, we met him down there and got down there early that morning, right before daylight. They've got this they got this blind just set up on this, I call it a chute, but it's all oak trees around you, just scrub trees around you everywhere. And they got this one oak area that's about, maybe 20, 30 yards across, and it's real long. Goes way on down in the woods down through there. But those ducks, man, they'll be flying over the top of you, and they'll drop down in that chute
and run it.
And here they come, man. And it's like, it's fast. It's really fast. And anyways, I stuck Will's left-handed, so I stuck him on the left side of the blind. And BJ was sitting over there, and I said, well, Will's going to shoot. I didn't bring a gun. I'm just going to, video y'all and just sit out here and shoot the breeze with y'all. And, man, them first few ducks come through there. I mean, Will clipped two of them, bang, bang. Down they went.
What's the limit on wood ducks? Is it 2 or 3?
Depends on if the game warden's around. Hey, look, it's 3 of man.
Yeah, it's 3 of man.
It's 3 of man. We didn't go over the limit. Yeah. But yeah, man, I was, BJ, he looked at me and he's like, that boy can shoot. He's knocking down doubles coming down through here. And I was he can shoot. You better tell him hold up, if you want
this to be a long hunt.
This to be a long hunt. I said, because he's going to knock his 3 down and it's going to be over. We'll be watching you. So, but they wound up shooting 2-man limited wood ducks, 3 ducks. I was back at the house at 8:00.
Yeah. You can't beat that.
No, my wife hadn't even gotten out of the bed. I went in there, I took a shower, crawled back up in the bed and dozed back off for about 45 minutes.
That's a good day, man. You get a woody hunt in before breakfast.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it was a good time, man. There ain't nothing better than shooting wood ducks. They're fast, it's quick, but you got to have them shot up before the sun gets up too high because they just stop flying.
Yeah.
You don't see them like you do early in the morning, and that's what happened.
His cousin, I talked to him yesterday, BJ's cousin. He said, man, his uncle called. He said, man, you better get over here. These jokers are flying all day now.
Really?
I guess they're buzzing them woods over there.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot fly over the house in the evening time stuff. I don't know where they're coming and going to. I guess they're going to the river, but I don't know where they're coming from because they're coming back from the west, and really ain't no water over there.
No, I don't know what they're flying over that way. But I
don't know if they're over in ponds on the golf courses, and I don't know. Just kind of scattered, but they're all flying back towards the east, coming back towards the river, and I guess they're going to roost out there in some of those sloughs and stuff around the river. But I've been seeing a few wood ducks. Still ain't seeing no big ducks though.
Well, we've been killing some over in Arkansas. I've been hunting over there a good little bit. I wouldn't say a lot, but every day or nothing. But when Michael's been out of school, he's wanting to duck hunt, so we've been going over there. And I think the best we did, we had one afternoon where we killed 24. And it was kind of mixed bag. There were some greenheads in there, and there were some few Hollywoods. I ain't ashamed to
the shoot. No, not now.
And then we killed some teal. Nothing crazy. I killed. We've had some pretty good spec hunts. So specs have been working in.
Tell me about the river hunt you was.
So I just got back, like right before school went back. I think we went up there last Saturday, and then we were going to Real Foot Lake. A buddy of mine was taking a group up there, and he's had 2 spots and wanted to know if me and Michael wanted to go with him. So I was like, yeah, I'd love to go. They were taking their boys too. It's kind of father-son thing. And they went up there last year. I think he'd been up there 2 years in a row, but there's a big guide up there. And the way that lake works, I think you can guide on it, but you only get your blind for 1 year unless you're grandfathered in somewhere. It was in your family before they made all these new laws. And there's only a few guys left that have these blinds that they get to hunt every year.
Yeah.
Well, and they're usually jam up. I mean, Reelfoot Lake's known for its waterfowl hunting, big goose migration up there, a ton of ducks, bald eagles everywhere. That's where people, I remember going up at school, that's where they would take trips to go up there and view the eagles.
Yeah.
But a Reelfoot Lake, it's not a man-made lake. It happened because of the earthquake when New Madrid fault. It's right on, New Madrid's right there across the river from it. And I guess when the earthquake happened years and years ago, river flew backwards and it filled up.
Swallowed up some earth and it just filled in.
Lake. Well, it's typically always has water, but I think they do flood control it because it's got like a dam or something on it. Well, back in the summer, somebody went in and vandalized it. And they, before they knew it, they'd opened up the relief or whatever, and it ran the guy told us it ran, I don't think it was over 24 hours or whatever before they could get it shut off.
Draining the lake. And so there hadn't been any water enough to where they duck hunt at. I guess it's up on the north end or wherever. I don't know that much about it. I'm just going by the story he told us. That there's he said there's over 250 duck blinds out here, and not hardly any of them have water to hunt. So they're all scrambling, trying to hunt fields, trying to hunt these sloughs, and trying to hunt the river because it's right on the Mississippi River. Well, I had never hunted on the Mississippi River. So he said, we're going to be hunting on the river, but y'all are here at another historic time. He's been 67 years on this earth and said that he could never remember when the river was this low during duck season. Normally, he's got this big 40-foot blind on pontoons that he can put out in the river and tuck back up in some of them Willis sloughs on the side. It's hid good enough, and he can boat people out there, put them in that blind, and they kill ducks on the river. Yeah.
Well, this year the option was the river was so low there wasn't no cover. When I say low, it was low. And so we ended up hunting one of these sandbars, and I had never seen this before. But what he did, he'd had these. You seen them fertilizer totes? It's like on a pallet.
Yeah, with the aluminum cage around.
Yeah, and plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so he took 14 of those out to the sandbar, hand buried them one by one. So it was like a one-man pit. Put all this I don't know, it was almost like not tarp material. It had like a leatherness to it, but it was all over the tops of them, and holes were cut in them so you could sit down in there. You had a buddy heater in there, and you had a chair to sit on. You could tuck your head down.
Yeah.
And so they put all the decoys out on the edge of the water of the river. Now, we're hunting on the Missouri side. We had to get a Missouri license. And so we boated all the way across the river, and we got down in these holes in these pits. And we were surrounded by, the whole sandbar's covered up with snow goose decoys. And then on us was these big hollow body Canada goose decoys that were like 3 foot, big.
Yeah,
huge.
big ones.
And so they're pretty much sitting on top of you, or you could put it over your head if you wanted to, but you just kind of tucked in those holes in that sandbar. And we got down in there, and it was great. We watched the sun come up on the river. We had a few specks come in. We saw birds fly in the river, but it seemed like they were always on Tennessee side versus the Missouri side. And we were, I think we killed, there was 11 in our group, and I don't think we killed but maybe 10 birds total. Like that included the geese we shot too. So it wasn't a great hunt. It was cool getting to get up early, go across,
do something you hadn't never done before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Dude, it was so cold riding across that river. Oh man, you couldn't put on enough clothes. I had on everything I had, but once you got in that hole, and we were shucking out of clothes because the sun came up and it warmed up, and we got those heaters running. But they fed us good, man. Them jerkers, they come out and fed us like breakfast casserole in the pit, in the hole, and then they'd come out and they had ham biscuits. And then at lunchtime, he crossed the river and went back, and his wife had made these big old jumbo hamburgers. Like cheeseburgers. He floated. He come back.
Oh, he's bringing them to you.
Yeah, he's bringing them to us. Now, that's first class, but we just didn't have no birds. The next day, so that was a morning hunt. And we hunted, man. We were out there. I think we met at the boat ramp at 5:45 and boated across. It wasn't too long a boat ride, but by the time we were there well before the sun come up, watched the sun come up, we got back in the boat about 1:30. So, it's long. After we ate lunch, everybody's like, man, this is great and all, but there ain't nothing going to come in here the rest of the day. We can go back and get in these holes, or we can go try a flooded field. And he said, well, I got a farm over here. It's got 2 blinds on it. It's a cornfield. They flooded standing corn. I was like, man, why would we hunt? And he said, I had the water turned on for 24 hours, so he's putting fresh water in it. I was like, well, we probably should have went there this morning.
Yeah.
And so we went over there that afternoon, and the setup was okay, but it was like you didn't need to hunt both those blinds at the same time because they weren't 200 yards apart. And any time a duck came by us, we'd start calling at it. The guys in the other blind in our group would start calling at it too. And so they're shooting the duck, they're sky blasting them. And so we started, it wasn't a good setup. I mean, we killed a couple birds that afternoon, nothing crazy. But it was still, we had fun, So the next morning, they're like, all right, we're going back, meet at the boat ramp. We're going to cross the river and go back in there. I said, is there any chance that a few of us can go back to that cornfield? and he was like, yeah, if y'all want to go back there, just help yourself, We didn't get to take no guides or nothing. So it was me and Michael and one other guy wanted to go. And we went back over there, and Mikey, I saw birds. I mean, I couldn't finish none of them. They were all the geese that we were seeing. So what they're doing, they're flying from that river, and there's a refuge over there. And they were crossing in the morning. I guess they've been out there feeding and all that corn and stuff and all the flooded stuff coming out of the river, and they're going to settle on that refuge during the day where nobody's messing with them. I mean, they had it figured out. The birds, we got some ducks to circle us and work a little bit, but them jokers, they'd bug out and go straight to the refuge. They'd take a loop and bug out and go to the refuge.
Yeah, that's I've hunted places like that before where they say, "Well, it's right next to a refuge," and you think, "Oh, well, we're gonna kill them. We're gonna kill them." Yeah, you're gonna see a lot.
You're gonna see a lot. Oh, it's like National Geographic.
But
the migration was happening.
Yeah, you get a few stragglers that drop down and you're set and stuff like that. But a lot of times you just sit there and watch them fly by.
But and so that was the end of that hunt. And then his wife showed up out there. She had fried crappie and taters and hush puppies and coleslaw and brought it out to us at like where we parked our trucks to go hunt. And I said, man, we ate fried crappie on tailgate fresh. It was so dang good.
Man, that's a top notch.
Yeah. Oh, man, no, they fed us. They fed us good. Then we ended up finding this other little place we went to. It's pretty cool. It's called the Blue Bank Restaurant or something like that. It's up there on Real Foot. If you're in that area, go check that place out. There ain't a whole lot of options to eat up there.
Yeah.
But that's one where all the hunters were, and everybody we talked to hadn't. I mean, it'd have been terrible. It'd have been terrible. Like nobody's killing birds. So it's just one of them years, man. I don't know if it's short stopping them up north or they just ain't making it down to us or what the deal is. They ain't. I mean, they just.
There's something going on because it's our weather pattern has been really bad this year too. We hadn't really had a winter here. We've had like 1 week that it got really cold. It spit a little bit of snow, in certain areas it did. And then it just, after that, we've been, 60s, 50s, the highs. Sometimes it's been up almost 80 degrees.
Oh, it's going to be 78 today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
we're both in shorts.
Yeah, we're supposed to deer hunt.
How
you going to deer hunt in that? My brother's-in-law came in town. He always loves to go during Christmas. I was like, man, it's 80 degrees. We're not going to go out there and sit in the stand and not see anything. It hasn't been the most productive year. I feel, I was thinking about it, and in 25, I've probably hunted more and shot more than I ever have in my life. I mean, I started out the spring, killed 3 turkeys.
Yeah.
I got me a Mississippi turkey and got me 2 out and 2 Rios. And then we just followed that up with a great dove hunt. So we had, and then we went into hunting season, and I got to shoot a black buck. I've killed me a whitetail. I've had a great hunting season. It just hadn't been. It doesn't feel like it's.
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
It's been.
And I've killed a bunch of ducks.
Yeah, it's weird. It's been weird at home. It really has. It's been really weird at home. Just not seeing the amount of deer and things that we normally do. But hey, that's part of hunting. I mean, some years you have good years, some years you don't.
Yeah.
You can't have a good year every year. But yeah, so we went down to Canton.
Oh yeah.
On the Big Black River.
Some of the most pristine hunting land in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah. So we got to go back down there and hunt right before Christmas. It was right before Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's right before Christmas. We got to go back down there and hunt in Canton on the Big Black River. And man, it's one of the prettiest pieces of property that I've ever seen. I mean, and I know a lot of the whole river bottom probably looks like that, but this is the only place I've ever been on that river, or we have. And man, they have those palmettos and those big oaks and big cypress trees and stuff, sloughs everywhere. Man, that is a beautiful place to hunt. And they got deer down there. And we went down there, it was full blown rut.
I didn't see a deer. Every stand I set, no deer.
But we go down there and it's full blown rut, and we do have, restrictions on, what we can shoot and, what we're supposed to shoot, what we're not supposed to shoot. And they do kind of try to leave a couple of younger 10 points that they have, this scratched off the list. You can't mess with those. Those are the ones they want to breed and be around for a couple more years. And they got a big enough piece of property they can do that. But, the difficulty of that is when you're in there in the full blown rut, they're not walking out in a food plot and just posing for you to size this thing up, man. I don't know how many bucks run by me chasing does, and I was just like, there's no way I can.
Really?
You're looking at them through the binoculars, but by the time you get them in the binoculars and start getting them sized up, they're fixing to be out of your.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a shot at them. So, it was a little frustrating hunting down there again, just because they just don't walk through the woods. We get down there and it's full blown rut, and these things are they're wide open chasing does and stuff. So when we got down there, I called the guy, one of the owners or whatever, the son, and was like, hey, man, y'all need some does shot off this place. I can pick them out. And he was like, yeah. So, man, I let old Lucy go. Yeah. I let her go. Man, I started popping them doe. I think I killed 2 one afternoon, come through there, was going to kill 3 or 4 of them, and, they just wouldn't sit still long enough. But it wound up being a pretty good time. We had a good time. We eat good and got to spend time with some good friends.
That's right. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the aspect of going to somebody else's deer camp and just getting to see how it works and get to see some different woods, even though if you don't see a deer. It didn't stop me from wanting to go back.
Well, one of the boys that was with us, he shot a nice deer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good story there.
Yeah, he shot a nice deer. And he wound up.
Did he shoot a little back or something, or what happened there?
He shot it a little bit back. He was, he was bow hunt. He was trying to bow hunt, but they take their rifles with them, just in case. They're trying to bow hunt. But anyways, this deer was out of bow range, and it was standing in the thicket with a doe. It chased the doe up there, is what he was telling me, but it chased the doe up there, and it was standing there, and it was in some viney stuff, in those palmettos and stuff, and he said, he thought he might have clipped something, I don't know, but he thought he made a good shot, and he shot, and deer ran off, and we started tracking blood. It wasn't no big deal. It was a good blood trail. And then it got to little drip here, got bad, and then when I noticed, like, the deer was like, he was doubling back. So he would lay down and start watching. So we tracked this thing for probably about 30 minutes, and we decided to back out and go get a dog. Mm-hmm. So we came back to camp. Well, we went out to eat, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they wanted to give it a little bit.
Yeah, they wanted to give him a little bit. So
it was cool. It wasn't. I wouldn't. Yeah, it was freezing, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was probably in the 40s, something like that, low 40s. But I think we went out to dinner.
We did.
We went out to dinner.
We're going to go recover that deer with the dog after they're guaranteed we was going to find it.
Yeah, yeah. He's going to be dead.
They knew where it was. Yeah. It's guaranteed.
He's headed towards the river, and he's going to be laying on the side of the, bank of the river in one of the thickets or something like that.
So what is your rule of thumb on pulling off a deer and giving them some time like that? And when to go get a dog or go get help?
So, I mean, a lot of times you can tell, when you start tracking a deer, you may not have known you jumped the deer, but if you find where it laid down and it's facing back, looking back, watching its back trail, it may not be, that's where it gets questionable. It may not be hurt as bad as you think it is, because he still had enough sense, because if you shoot him and it's a deadly shot, that deer is he's just taking off and, use the last little bit of energy, he's going to play out. But if he starts sitting down, start watching his back trail or her, that means you probably clipped it somewhere, and it could still die.
Yeah. Oh, it probably will.
Probably will. Yeah. But if you start seeing where it's doing that, that's where it gets questionable at. If it laid down and it's you can tell it's looking back down the trail where it was at. It didn't just fall over and lay down in a thicket. It got up on a high spot, or it got, on the other side of a thicket and was watching the thicket as you come through. He, bust into another thicket. You just kind of got to read the sign, but at that point you really need to get out of there.
Yeah.
And come back later. Just drop your hat or, some kind of marker if you got some kind of tape.
Where you can find the trail.
Toilet paper, you put it on a limb or something like that, and just kind of mark where you was at, where you stopped at. Just back out real easy and give him, if it's cold enough, you give him to the next day. But if it's not, you probably need to come back in there
in a few hours,
3 or 4 hours later, and try to do something.
Would you like bringing the dog, or do you rather just use your senses and try to track it?
So we had 2 different experiences with that. So with this buck, it was dropping blood. It wasn't much. And if the deer's dropping blood and I can track it, I'd rather leave the dog. Depends on the dog too, it really depends on the dog. The dog will find it a lot faster. But I'd rather not have the dog in there until I've exerted everything I've got, and I'm just like, I can't find him. I cannot find this thing. And then let's go get the dog. I'd rather do it myself. But like with that deer, we've got the dogs in there, and one guy had a younger dog and one guy had an older experienced dog. Well, the younger dog kept wanting to play with the older dog, and I felt like it was messing it up. It kept running up there and grabbing it, jumping on it and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe we need to put the younger dog back up, let the older dog work. Well, the dog went to the river. Well, they don't bark or anything. And they put bells on them and stuff like that. But we heard the dog go in the river and come back out.
Mm-hmm.
So it went in the river and came back out. She was soaking wet when she came back. So we walked up there and she went back in the river and came back. Well, we're still kind of, figure out what this deer is doing. And we didn't trust the dog.
Yeah.
The dog went in the river because the deer was in the river.
Yeah.
And anyways, we come back later that night, and the guy that owned the dog, he said, I'm going to walk down the edge of the river and shine down the edge of the river. Y'all go back in there, take her back in there, put her back on the trail and let her go.
Yeah.
And it wasn't probably 30 minutes after we come back from eating dinner, he started calling and said, hey, get up here now. And the buck was he just swam across the river.
The big black.
The big black river, and he was on the other side of the river. He couldn't get up that slick bank. I guess
he used everything he had.
And he had just sat down on the edge of the river and was just sitting there. And they went over and they wound up finishing him off. Went around, got across. They had a bridge across.
Yeah.
Or some kind of crossing across the river.
Yeah.
They got across the river somehow and went over and finished him off.
On that one, that was one where a bunch of us just went on back to camp.
Yeah.
It was after midnight.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be hunting the next morning. And I think when they finally came back in, it was like 4 a.m. and we got up at 5.
Well, they had to go get a kayak and kayak over there.
And float it back.
Because they couldn't get to it where it was at. Yeah. They did shoot it. But once they shot it, they actually shot it from this side of the river on the other side.
And then kayaked it back.
And then kayaked it back across the river and got it back up the bank and got it to a side by side where they could get it out.
So how far do you think that deer, ran from where he shot it to when y'all first got on it to where it crossed the river and got on the other side? How far distance was that?
It wasn't in a straight line. So, the deer was, he was
circling.
He was circling. He was zigzagging. He'd walk up a road and he'd go in and he'd take he may have been walking left for 300 yards. And then all of a sudden he took him a right turn and walked back to the right 300 yards.
Yeah.
He was just kind of making his way through the woods, meandering through the woods. And, that's what I was saying. I think he was doing that on purpose, where he was just out far enough where we couldn't see him, but he could see us with the flashlights coming. And he knew he was trying to throw us is what he was trying to do.
That swimming that river is probably his last resort.
Yeah. He was like, well, they're still coming. I gotta, I gotta put some distance between me and them. And he got out there and he just didn't have enough left.
So do you think getting on that deer too soon is what pushed him to the river like that, or just what did he do about it?
I think us still trying to track him too early, because you don't know where you hope you shot him where you supposed to.
You know how it is. Adrenaline's running. Yeah. This is a big deer. It's like, this is one of the big ones. We got to get him. And everybody wants to see him. And
everybody wants to find him. Everybody wants to be that guy, So, but yeah, I think when we bumped him that first time, him being an older, mature buck, they are very, very intelligent, especially when it comes to, evading you and, finding places to get where you can't find them. But that's what he was doing. But to answer your question, we were probably 3/4 of a mile from where the guy shot it to where we finally got the deer. If walking distance.
Yeah.
If you flew straight, probably not that far.
Which is probably, that's a good place for him to run. But I was just, my thinking there was, if it was a marginal shot and you didn't find him when, on that initial look, back out and leave it, give it more time than you think.
Yeah.
If you can. I know it's hard. We fell, we're quick to want to go back, let it go 30, 40 minutes and then go look for it. But it never fails when we went back in there and not gave it ample time, we pushed the deer. We did it with a doe this year. We happened to find her. She was hurt pretty bad. But she wanted to get up and go. Every time you get within 100 yards of her, you could tell she was getting up.
Yeah.
That's the way it was. That's what that deer was doing.
Yeah. Same thing. Just staying just far enough out of reach,
The only problem I have with this, like where we are, man, we got so many daggum coyotes, they'll find it. Like, if you leave one overnight, I don't care how cold it is, those coyotes are going to find it.
Yeah, if they can get to it, it's not going to be much left of it.
I've had it happen. I've seen it happen twice personally. It was a buck I shot. One of them was a buck Michael shot down there. And the coyotes got them and just ripped them to shreds. You get the head back, but I want the meat.
Yeah, because we've got so many coyotes around our place. If you make a marginal shot and leave it, it's And matter of fact, we run up on that yesterday. Me and you went down and checked cameras.
Oh yeah, I hate to see that, but at least we found her.
Yeah, we went out checking cameras yesterday. We had some cameras. We've been back and forth to camp here and there, and not really messing with the cameras. They've been taking pictures, and some of them had the batteries down on them. We were just going around refilling batteries and moving some of them if we had to that had dried up. But anyways, we pull up on this one food plot because this one camera hadn't taken a picture in 3 or 4 days. We actually had somebody walk past it, trespassing, but. Anyways, we thought maybe they stole it, and we pull up in the food plot, right on the edge of the food plot. You told me, said, look, there's a deer right there.
I saw a white belly laying over there.
And there was a doe laying on the edge of the food plot. Her head was not up. It was upright.
Yeah.
It was on the ground, but her ears were up. And I said, that's when we realized she's still alive.
Yeah, that's what you said. He said they're still alive. We got to go get a gun.
Yeah. So we
eased up there and looked at her, and sure enough, she was broke down. Like
somebody shot her front leg, might near plumb off.
Yeah, it was her left front leg was hanging by some skin.
Yeah, they hit her right just low of the shoulder where the bullet didn't go into the body cavity
at all,
and it busted that leg. And I guess some of the shrapnel had broke her shoulder or whatever. And she just run out of gas.
Yep.
The only thing we could figure is they shot her and was looking for her and
pushed her around,
and maybe some house dogs or something got her up and chased her around, and she just, because if she would have been laying on the edge of the food plot, those guys, I'm sure that's what they were doing on the camera looking for her.
Probably so. That's what I imagine. I imagine that they'd shot her on another property and just come looking. But we called around. That was the first thing, let's call game warden, let's call the neighbors, see if anybody's missing a deer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you think, we got neighbors that hunt around us, you want to stay in good relationship with them. Shoot them a message. Hey man, we got a shot doe over here. She's still alive. Anybody missing one or shooting a missing deer, and nobody claimed it. So we went back and got a rifle and went back and dispatched her and loaded her up and salvaged the meat.
Yeah, had somebody take her.
Yeah, had somebody want her, and that front shoulder was no good, but everything else about that deer was fine.
Yeah.
And I figured, since there was no blood around, I don't know how many days. I don't know if she could make it over 48 hours like that or not.
I don't know, man. They're tough.
But it was. I was surprised that there wasn't buzzards, there wasn't coyote, nothing to mess with her yet. That kind of told me she hadn't been laying there too long, but she had nothing left. That was it.
Yeah.
And you hate to see that, but at least it didn't go to total waste.
That's right. Yeah. Somebody will take it. If she would have been dead or whatever, it was at 70 degrees. Yeah, I probably just would have picked her up. And I hate throwing them in the, throwing them somewhere, but that's what we'd have had to do. Cause you can't, you don't want to be taking questionable meat back to your family and stuff like that. We would have took it if we hadn't have already had a freezer full of. We can't fit nothing else in the freezer right now.
We don't have any room at camp.
I would have snatched her up and we'd have skinned her and put her in the freezer. But we're full right now between the elk and the deer and ducks and everything else we've harvested already. So, but yeah, it was that's part of deer hunting though, and it's a bad situation to get into, and it sucks. But
it happens. I mean,
yeah, it happens to everybody. If you've never shot a deer and lost it, or crippled one up and wound up having to run up on it and shoot it again, you ain't been hunting long enough.
That's right.
It happens. I mean, it does happen, and you feel bad. I mean, you feel like you just this big. It makes you feel like crap, but you recover from it.
That's right. Well, we still got a few more weeks of hunting season.
We do.
So we've got what, 3 weekends left, maybe?
Got 3 weekends.
It ain't over.
3 weekends left.
I'm not giving up on them.
No.
They're, I know. What do you think's slowed down the deer movement the most this year? If you had to attribute it to one thing you've seen.
I got to do one.
No, you can attribute it to whatever you want.
I think ours in our area. This is what I think in our area. This is what I think. The acorn production this year was off the freaking charts, more than it has been anywhere else. We had a very wet spring, wet going into the summer. We had trouble back during the spring replanting crops. Fields getting flooded. They got a lot of water. We did hit a little drought period there, but it wasn't that bad. I think they had enough water, and our acorn trees were just unreal this year. I mean, everywhere. I mean, and they dropped almost all within 2 or 3 weeks of one another. They were on the ground.
The woods had a carpet of acorns this year.
Yeah, and so I think that's kept them kind of in the in places where normally if you had food plots or you had fields or you had stuff like, not saying they didn't come out in them, because they do still come out there and eat some of that stuff, but they had so much browse. We had a warm start to the deer season.
Stuff is still green.
Stuff is still green. Some of our food plots got overgrown this year just because, we had that warm stretch that stayed, for.
Oh, if you fertilized them, you had a jungle.
Well, that's what, we was down there yesterday. I mean, some of our food plots are way bigger than they should be. And, the deer utilize them, but not like they normally would because they've gotten so big. We fertilized them and had weeks of 70-degree weather, and it just
popped.
It popped, man. And they're, normally we would have had a frost, and we didn't get one till late here. But I think the other contributing factor to that is the weather. We just hadn't had any kind of real cold snaps to really make the deer move around like they normally do. It's been warm, so they ain't got to go far to get something to eat, so they're just not really had no reason to move.
That's what I think it is a lot, too. Even during the rut, like we got plenty of doe. They don't have to move off that food source as long as they got water and cover. Why come out open during the day?
Right.
Like in our area specifically, nobody's really seeing the deer that we're used to seeing. That's just, you talked to the neighbor yesterday.
Talked to the neighbors yesterday.
He was like, man, we're not seeing them down south of here.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen many around the branch. We hadn't seen many over here. Our neighbors, man, the deer gone.
We got one guy, he's just giving up. He said he ain't hardly killed anything. He was like, man, I don't even want to, I'm going to sell the property.
It's don't get rid of that hardwood property if you got it. That's where the deer are.
But I think it's just one of those years, man. There's a couple of different contributing factors, I think, to that. The main one being the acorns, and I think just having that amount of food and them not having to move much.
Yeah.
They're not moving much. I mean, those, like you said, those does normally evening times at our place. After the acorns are gone, man, those does flood into those food plots late, like last 30 minutes of daylight or, sunlight.
Every field's covered up.
Every field's covered up, and here comes the bucks trailing in behind them, checking them and stuff like that. And this year it didn't happen.
Yep.
This year it didn't happen. They didn't have to go very far. I mean, you can still hunt them, but they're not moving much. I mean, you got to get close.
Makes you have to hunt a little harder.
Yeah,
you can't sit in that box stand with that heater on that green field and expect to see something.
No,
it ain't guaranteed. You're going to have to get down in the woods. You're going to have to move around. I saw it, and we ain't going to get into it far. I want to talk about it next time. But it was an older guy, and he said he hadn't hunted from a stand or saddle or anything in like 22 years, and he was 49 years old the last time he did it. He said he's killed more deer in his life once he started hunting from the ground.
Yeah.
Getting in there. And the whole thing was about how deer see you when you're on the ground versus standing up. It's like they don't differentiate humans until you're standing up.
Yeah.
Like if you're on the ground sitting there, they think you're stumps, what this guy said. So we'll get into that next time.
Yeah, that's a good topic. We should get into that because I got stories about hunting from the ground.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about. I know when you said you first started hunting, you did a lot of.
I did a lot of hunting from the ground.
So we'll talk about that next week. Do we got anything else we need to talk about before we get out of here today?
I don't think so. Made a trip down to Circle A.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got the world famous Circle A hunting club.
Do we got time to tell that one, or is that one we need to save? We can tell it.
We got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes.
Hear about Circle A.
So my brother runs a club called Circle A. He's one of the main guys down there. Him and the owner, good friends of mine, and
friend of the show, Randy.
Yeah, Randy, my brother. He's the one that runs it. So they invited me down before Christmas or in between Christmas and New Year's. That's when it was. Come down, hang out with us. Let's go hunt and do some stuff. And I said, well, I can come down one day. I got this evening to come down or this day to come down and hunt, and I got to be back at home the next day.
Yeah.
They were like, all right, come on. So we get down there, and of course, if it's not raining here, I get down to their camp, and it's pouring down rain. I was like, well, crap. I was like, I'm not going hunting. I'm not going hunting.
Yeah.
So they already had a big old pot of soup going in the kitchen in there, big old pot of vegetable soup, stuff like that. So we already got dinner going. Let's just sit on the porch and have a few drinks. Yeah. So, all right, let's have a few drinks. So we sat on the porch. We started having a few drinks. And while it's raining, we're sitting there and we're shooting the crap. I've got an old 97 Z71 regular cab.
Yeah.
And I've been redoing this thing for several years. I've kind of backed off of it now. But anyways, I drove it down there. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting on the porch, and they was like, you see that mud hole out there, Mikey? You ain't got a hair on your ass if you don't take that Z71 through there.
She still have it?
Boy, I got in that truck, and I thought they were going to all pile in it when I went out to the truck. I said, no, don't dare me. I'll go. They said, well, I was going to tell you, there ain't nobody been through that hole in a long time because we've had to pull them out. We've seen trucks with the water over the hood running through the cab. It's bad. It's nasty. You ain't going to make it through it. You're not going to make it through it, Mike. You're finna ruin your truck. Don't take it. A couple of them was telling me, don't take that truck through there. Don't take it. Well, a few Michelob Ultras deep, I was like, I got this. So I got in the truck, and a buddy of mine jumps in, and he was like, I'm going with you. I was like, all right. I said, how bad is this hole? He's, it's really bad.
Oh, it's bad.
It's really bad. He said, we're fixing to get stuck.
He had no faith in you getting
in. Yeah, he was one of the members. He had no faith in me. And I pulled up there to this hole, and it drops in. I'm talking about it's straight down.
Yeah.
And when you drop in, it is straight down. Your hood is going plumb under the water. The water is mud's coming up, plumb up into the windshield wipers. And you got to level out and take off. So anyways, I pull up there, and the front end slips off, and it bottoms out like automatically. I was like, golly, this is really bad. So I back up, and I was like, man, he's like, don't you wimp out on me now, dude. He said, we already over here. He said, you got to go. You got to go. Everybody's on the porch watching you. And I was like, I snatched that thing down in gear, boy, and I stabbed it. She belly flopped out midways of the hole. I never even hit the drop in. It just all four wheels come off the ground and splashed right in the middle of it. Man, that thing come up out of the other side. That thing was growling and pawing, come up out of there, son. I'm talking about everybody went nuts. Everybody went nuts.
Whole camp was cheering?
Oh, yeah, I'm a legend. I'm a legend.
You became a legend at Circle A.
I became a legend at Circle A. About 8 Michelob Ultras and an old 97 Z71. I'm a legend.
That sounds like a t-shirt out there.
Yeah.
Or a country song. Maybe both. No. Man, that's what going deer camp's like, right?
It was fun.
That's what makes it fun. Yeah.
It's always a good time going down there with those guys. They've got an old school deer camp. They hang out, they cook, they do a little drinking, and they have fun. We had shooting contests. We did pouring down rain. Nobody was really wanting to get wet and go to the stand. Everybody's already killed deer, so we just hung out, and watched a few football games, had a few shooting contests, did a little mud riding. And,
that's a weekend right there, man.
I wouldn't have traded it for nothing that day. But that's about it, though.
All right. Well, man, we will be back to do her again. Y'all, hey, get on the community right there at Buck
Junkie
Outdoor Club on Facebook. We love seeing those posts. Everybody's sharing on there, sharing what's going on in your hunting season.
Yeah, if you're killing anything, man, get on there.
Let us know what the deer are doing in y'all's part of the country where y'all are hunting. What are y'all seeing? Has it been slower than normal? Has it been bang up year? And what's the ducks doing? I need a duck report, man. I've been all over trying to find a duck. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna about do us. If y'all got any questions or anything, don't be scared to reach out to us. We got email. Check out the website. We got seasonings and some other products on there. We've been cooking with some of that stuff. Yeah. So don't forget about that.
Recipes to talk about. We'll talk about it next time. I saw somebody doing it was Get Sauce New Jersey. Get Sauce NJ did that Mississippi deer roast.
Really?
We got to do that.
Yeah,
the whole thing with the pepperoni, the stick of butter, ranch, all that. Man, we got to do that.
We'll do that this weekend.
Yeah. And then I forgot to tell you, I went over to Arkansas during Christmas too, and we cooked a whole deer on a spigot. We'll talk about that too.
Oh, yeah. Write that down. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Joe, and that was a Joe Wilson. I really need to get him on here to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because Joe's the one that brought the rotisserie, and I was just there. I tried it. It was dangerous.
We've always wanted to try that.
Oh, no. It was cool too. And we'll get into that next time. But y'all have a great week. We'll be back, do it again. Till then, we gone.
See you.